Can you comment on the European Union as a neoliberal project?
The European Union was built from the very beginning as a neoliberal project, forbidding making impossible the socialist or even social democrat alternative. Giscard d'Estaing said it beautifully. The European Constitution, he said, the one which was adopted in Lisbon, is making socialism illegal. That is, it is restricting, it's abolishing democracy, restricting the choice between you choose you chaps to do the same. Nothing more than that. And therefore, this European Union cannot be changed, cannot be reformed from inside. It has to be deconstructed before eventually the European peoples construct an alternative. It has no future.
What would you say for a country like Croatia, which is set to enter European Union, at least that is what the political elites want?
It's a terrible illusion. After the breakdown of Yugoslavia, the various nations of Yugoslavia have thought that, well, it's not so bad because we are small nations now, independent states, but we all shall be members of that beautiful European Union. But the European Union offers them nothing.
So do you think that people of Croatia should fight against entering?
I think so.
Okay. Can you comment on the problems, on the current problems on the Eurozone and the Euro, especially concerning Greece?
Well, you know, there is, in my analysis, which is a very banal, not only Marxist analysis, but even bourgeois economists who are serious admit it, money is state. There is no currency, no money without a state. And there is no European state. And this is not on the agenda in the sense that the political maturity of European nations do not allow them, do not permit the construction of a European state, even confederation. These are all nations, and they do not accept the legitimacy of the votes in the other nation if it's not similar to their vote. And therefore, creating a common currency before having an eventual common state was totally irrational, irresponsible. I happen to have spoken of that problem with Jacques Delors, who was the father of the European money. And I told him, you are putting the cart before the bulls, before the horses. And he says, yes, because this will compel the Europeans to create a European state. I smiled and said, if you are right, if this miracle happened, you will have your statue everywhere in Europe as the great man. But this will not happen, and it will lead with the first difficulties to chaos. And this is what happened.
Can you comment on what do you think that the economic and political future of Africa will be? Can Africa set itself free from imperialistic and neocolonial political and economic forces?
Sure. Africa has gone through a first wave of liberation from the 50s, 60s until now. This first wave have changed completely the picture of the African continent. I gave figures. In a country like Congo, there were 9 Congolese who had gone through university education. After 30 years of one of the worst systems in the world, not only in Africa, Mobutu, there are 300,000, which means that the worst African independent state has made in the field of education 30,000 times better than the Belgian. So, but this is the first wave. It has got out of steam and it's finished. And we need now a second wave of African liberation. I'm optimistic it will come.
What do you think about the future of the non-aligned movement?
Similar. Non-aligned movement was associated with the first wave, Bandung. Bandung, and then Bandung 55, non-aligned 60, 61, the first wave. But this wave is finished, is out of steam. The page is turned, and now we are moving in a second wave, which will not be non-aligned. Was originally non-aligned on military bipolarity, but now non-aligned means non-aligned on liberal globalization.
What do you think? How should the left now regard the real existing socialism of the 20th century? How do you assess what real socialist countries did economically in the 20th century, and what can we learn from the past?
We have to always be very critical to our own history, and we don't have to speak of our own past as glorious, full stop, and nothing else. Many people within that time were critical of really existing socialism, including in Yugoslavia, everywhere, from inside. But this page is turned precisely because those systems have proved to be unable to go beyond the first steps of what they could achieve. And they have achieved a lot. But that being achieved, they were unable to go beyond it. And they were eroded, lost their legitimacy, credibility, and broke down as a result of it. It doesn't mean that we have to look at those experiences as failures, as if we had not gone into those experiences and have remained within the capitalist system, we would be better. We would have been much worse than we are.
You said that the only choice, if we want humans and Earth to prosper in the future, is global socialism and communism. How would you imagine this transition from capitalism to some sort of socialism now? What would be the first steps for a country to do?
I don't try to imagine it. I try only to discuss with comrades on targets for the short run, strategic and tactical targets common to the peoples in struggle. And then we'll see. Marx himself never wrote a recipe, a blueprint of what is socialism. He says it's the result of the struggle of the working classes. And we should keep on that, which doesn't mean that we should dream of a future in the utopian way and should not prepare it. We have to prepare it by moving into struggles as of today. I mean, the future starts today.
So would you agree with Hugo Chavez, who says that every country has to find its own path to socialism?
Well, every country has to find its own path, provided that those paths go in the same direction.